I had just closed a $2 million deal. My family should have been celebrating, then my sister stood up, called me a dog. While everyone watched, I waited for my parents to stop her. They never did. Then I released a shocking truth of my sister and everyone went pale. Hit that subscribe button right now because this story of family betrayal and smart karma is going to take you on a journey you will not forget. Let me take you back so you can understand how everything unfolded. My name is Emily Thompson. I am 32 years old, and for most of my life I was the dependable one in the Thompson family. We lived in a nice 2-story house in a quiet suburb west of Chicago. Dad ran a small accounting firm from our basement when I was a kid. Mom stayed home and managed the household. I have a younger sister, Sarah, and an older brother, Jake. From the time we were little, Sarah was the star. She was outgoing and beautiful with her big smile and easy laugh. Teachers loved her. Neighbors praised her. Mom and Dad showered her with attention and new clothes and opportunities. I was quieter, bookish, the one who helped Dad organize files after school and made sure Jake remembered his homework. I never minded. Family was everything to me. I believed if I worked hard and loved them well, everything would be okay. After high school, I went to the University of Illinois on a scholarship. I studied accounting and business. While Sarah partied her way through a communications degree, one graduated with honors and immediately started helping Dad grow the firm. Those early years were tough but exciting. I worked late nights learning everything about tax law, digital marketing, and client relations. I convinced Dad to modernize. We built a website. I ran targeted ads. Slowly, the clients started coming in. By the time I was 28, the firm had moved into a beautiful office in downtown Naperville. We had a team of 8 employees. Revenue had tripled. I was proud, really proud. Sarah joined the company after college, but she mostly handled client lunches and social media. She was good at looking the part. I handled the actual work. The numbers, the strategy. The late nights when deadlines loomed. I told myself it was okay. We were building a family legacy. I even helped Sarah with her wedding to Mark. I babysat their kids. I covered for her when she took long vacations. Kindness was my nature. I thought love meant sacrifice. But cracks started showing long before that dinner. There was the time 2 years ago when I worked through Christmas Eve to finish a major audit. Sarah posted pictures from Aspen on Instagram claiming she had secured the client. She hadn't even met them. When I gently pointed it out, she laughed and said, "Come on, Emily, you are so uptight. The family needs a face, and I am it." Another time she charged a designer purse to the company card, calling it a client gift. I let it slide. Then there were the snide comments at family gatherings. "Emily is great with spreadsheets, but she has no personality for sales." My parents would chuckle. Jake would stay silent. I smiled through it all because rocking the boat felt wrong. The tension built slowly like a storm gathering on the horizon. Sarah grew more arrogant as the business succeeded. She started dressing in expensive clothes and driving a luxury SUV. She told friends she was the boss. Meanwhile, I still drove my reliable Honda and lived in a modest apartment so I could reinvest in the company. Then came the big contract. The national retail chain needed a new accounting partner for their Midwest operations. I spent months preparing the proposal. I flew to meetings. I customized solutions that fit their needs perfectly. When they signed, I was over the moon. This was it. The deal that proved all my hard work mattered. I planned the family dinner myself. I cooked most of the food. I bought flowers for the table. I wanted everyone to feel the success together. That night started beautifully. Mom hugged me tight. Dad raised a toast to the family business. Even Jake seemed happy for me. Sarah smiled, but her eyes were cold. I should have seen it coming. Halfway through the meal, I stood up to give a short speech. I thanked everyone for their support. I mentioned how we all played a role. That is when Sarah exploded. She pushed her chair back so violently it tipped over. "Team effort? You have got to be kidding me, Emily. You act like you are some genius, but we all know the truth. I am the one who charms the clients. You are just the boring back office girl." I tried to stay calm. "Sarah, we are stronger together. This deal helps all of us." But she was not done. Her voice rose higher. "Stronger together? Please. You have been dragging this family down with your sad little life. Get off the table, Emily. Eat on the floor like the pathetic dog you are. The silence that followed was deafening. Mark, her husband, smirked and took another bite of chicken. Mom looked down at her plate, twisting her napkin. Dad cleared his throat but said nothing. Jake muttered something about needing air and left the room. The kids stared wide-eyed. I felt smaller than I ever had in my life. My chest tightened. Humiliation burned through every inch of me. This was my family, the people I had sacrificed for. And they let her speak to me like that. I stood up slowly. My legs felt weak, but I kept my head high. I think I should go, Sarah laughed. Yeah, good idea. We do not need your drama ruining the night. I walked out to my car. The cool night air hit my face, but it did nothing to cool the pain inside. I sat in the driver's seat for what felt like hours. Tears finally came. Heavy sobs that shook my whole body. How had it come to this? The days after the dinner were the darkest of my life. That was my lowest point. Sarah moved fast. The very next morning she had convinced Mom and Dad that I was having some kind of breakdown. She changed all the company passwords. She locked me out of the shared drives. When I called Dad, he sounded tired. Emily, maybe you should take some time off. Sarah has some fresh ideas and things have been stressful. Stressed? I had built the company. Mom sent a text that crushed me. Sweetheart, apologize to your sister. Family comes first. Apologize for what? For existing? For succeeding? Within a week I was completely cut off. No access to client files, no salary. The health insurance I relied on for my anxiety medication was gone. My savings, which I had poured back into the business, dwindled fast. I started applying for jobs, but Sarah had already spread rumors in our tight-knit industry. She told people I was unstable, jealous, difficult. Friends I thought were close stopped returning calls. My apartment felt like a prison. I would sit on the couch for hours staring at the wall, replaying that dinner in my head. The words "eat on the floor" echoed constantly. Nights were the worst. Panic attacks woke me up gasping for air. I questioned everything. Was I really the problem? Had I been blind to my own flaws? One particularly bad night, I drove to the old family house and parked across the street. I saw them through the window. Sarah laughing with Mom, Dad patting her shoulder. It broke something deep inside me. I realized I had been living for their approval my whole life, and it was never enough. In that moment of complete despair, a small spark ignited. I was done being the victim. I was done eating on the floor. That was my turning point. I started small. I reached out to an old college friend who was a forensic accountant. His name was Michael. I met him at a quiet coffee shop far from our usual circles. I told him everything. I showed him what I could access before the passwords changed.
He listened carefully. Emily, this sounds like a pattern.
Let me help you look deeper. We worked in secret for weeks, late nights at his office. I gathered old emails, bank records I had access to from before, client communication logs. Slowly the picture became clear. Sarah had been stealing, not small amounts. Over $350,000 in fake expenses, personal shopping, vacations, even payments to a fake vendor that went straight to her account. I could have gone straight to the police. But that was not the plan. I wanted something smarter. Something that would expose the truth without destroying everything my parents had worked for. I incorporated my own company quietly. Thompson Strategic Accounting. I reached out to the big retail client I had landed. I explained the situation professionally without bad-mouthing Sarah. They were shocked but supportive. We worked with you, Emily, not the company. We want to move forward with you. I started contacting other clients Sarah had neglected. I offered better rates and personal attention. Several signed on immediately. I hired 2 key employees who had grown tired of Sarah's attitude. They brought their expertise and contacts. The revenge phase built slowly over months. It was methodical and completely legal. First, I sent a formal demand letter through my lawyer. It requested a full independent audit of the family firm. Sarah panicked. She called me repeatedly. I let it go to voicemail. Her messages started sweet, then turned nasty. Emily, this is ridiculous. We are family. Then you are going to regret this, you ungrateful witch. I stayed silent. Next, I launched my website and announced the new firm at a local business networking event. Sarah found out when a mutual contact congratulated her on my success. She showed up at my apartment one evening unannounced. "You think you can just steal our clients?" she hissed at my door. I stood tall. "I am not stealing anything, Sarah. I am building something honest. Something you could never do." She tried to push past me, but I closed the door calmly. No yelling, no drama, just boundaries. The momentum grew. More clients followed. My team expanded to 6 people. We won another major contract. Industry publications started featuring my story as a woman entrepreneur who struck out on her own. The climax came at the annual Midwest Accounting Gala. It was the biggest event of the year. Our old family firm had a table reserved. I bought my own table and invited my new team. I wore an elegant navy blue dress that made me feel powerful. My hair was styled simply but confidently. Sarah spotted me immediately. She marched over with Mark trailing behind. Her face was flushed with anger. "What the hell are you doing here, Emily? This is our territory." I smiled politely. "Actually, Sarah, it is a public event. And I am here celebrating new successes." Before she could respond, the CEO of the national retail chain approached me with a warm handshake. In front of everyone, he said loudly, "Emily Thompson, I cannot thank you enough for the seamless transition. Your firm has exceeded every expectation. We are doubling our contract next quarter." Cameras flashed. People murmured. Sarah's face went ghostly white. Mom and Dad, who were seated nearby, looked stunned. Jake raised an eyebrow in surprise. Sarah tried to recover. She laughed loudly and tried to insert herself. "Yes, we are all so proud of the family effort." The CEO looked confused. "Family? No, this has been Emily's operation from the start. Her vision saved the account after the previous delays." That single statement cracked the facade wide open. Later that evening, I asked my parents to meet me in a quiet lounge area. I brought the folder, the evidence, bank statements, transfer logs, emails, everything. I spoke calmly but firmly. "I love you both, but I cannot keep silent anymore. Sarah has been taking money from the company for years. I have proof. I did not want to destroy our family, but I also will not let her destroy me." Mom started crying. Dad flipped through the papers with shaking hands. His face aged 10 years in minutes. "We had no idea. Sarah told us you were the one causing problems." Sarah burst into the room moments later. She had been listening somehow. "This is all lies. Emily is jealous, and she is trying to ruin me." I stayed composed. "The audit will show the truth, Sarah. I have already shared copies with the necessary parties. You can pay back what you can or face legal consequences, but you are no longer part of my life." The confrontation was painful. Sarah screamed accusations. She blamed everyone but herself. Mark looked disgusted and walked away. My parents finally saw the manipulation clearly. It was not easy. There were tears and raised voices, but no physical harm. Just truth. In the weeks that followed, the company was restructured. Sarah was removed from any role. She had to sell her luxury car and downsize her lifestyle to start repaying what she could. The industry gossip spread quickly. Her so-called friends vanished. Mark filed for divorce shortly after. I did not gloat. I focused on building. Today, my firm employs 12 people. We have a bright modern office with windows overlooking the river. Clients respect me. My team is loyal because I treat them well. I finally bought a small house with a yard. I planted flowers and made it my own sanctuary. My relationship with Mom and Dad has healed slowly. They come to my house for quiet dinners now. We talk openly. Jake and I have become close. He even left the old firm to join me part-time. Sarah keeps her distance. Last I heard, she is working as a receptionist and living more modestly. She has not reached out, and I have not unblocked her number. Some relationships cannot be saved, and that is okay. Looking back at that horrible dinner, I see it as the moment I woke up. I had spent years shrinking myself to fit into their expectations. The humiliation forced me to stand tall. Family should lift you up, not tear you down. Kindness does not mean accepting disrespect. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And never be afraid to choose yourself. If you are going through something similar right now, please know you are not alone. You are stronger than their words. You deserve the whole table and more. Thanks for listening to my story. If it moved you, please like and subscribe. Share your own experiences in the comments. I read them all and your support means everything. Remember, karma has a way of balancing things. Stay kind but stay strong. Until next time, this is Emily Thompson wishing you justice and peace.